Hey everyone, welcome to the Palikari Business Podcast. My name is Abby.
And I'm Nick.
And we're the founders of Odyssey Productions Co., a video production company located in the Central Valley of California.
Yeah, the word Palikari is a Greek word that means a young person who's achieved great things beyond their years.
So in each episode of this podcast, we will be interviewing successful business owners, influencers, and entrepreneurs to learn from their wisdom, experiences, and even their mistakes in hopes of helping you achieve great things beyond your years.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
Kristen Hope Migues has been competitively driving monster trucks and working as part of a crew for over 4 years. She's been the driver of 10 different monster trucks, her main trucks being Monster Mutt Dalmation and most recently Wolf's Head. In 2020, Kristen went from working in motorsports full-time to part-time as she and her husband Nick started their very own successful mobile mechanic business called Migues Automotive in the summer of 2020. Kristen has already accomplished all of this by the age of 23, which is amazing. Kristen, we're so excited to have you on the podcast today. You're one of my favorite people in the whole world and my cousin. So thank you so much for being here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad I get to be here with you guys. This is fun.
Yeah, this is awesome.
It is.
Cool. So we're just going to jump in and start asking you questions. So to start off, since most people don't know you, well, not that you're famous. People know you, but... So just to get started, can you share just a little bit about your background, where you grew up, and the things you experienced, just so people can get to know you a little bit?
Yeah, so my name is Kristen Migues, and I'm 23, living in Asheville, North Carolina currently, but I grew up in Kerman, California, which is a town probably no one's heard of of California, and I was born and raised there. My parents are business owners. They owned, I think, 5 businesses, including a vineyard farm at one point. So it was really neat getting to grow up in that kind of environment. And I am Abby's oldest cousin. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, awesome. And you kind of grew up doing a little bit of everything, right? You helped your dad with cars. You you helped your mom fix up furniture that she would resell, like all sorts of things, right?
Oh yeah. So I definitely got my kind of gearheadedness from my dad, and I grew up renting, and he loved old cars. We would watch and old car videos and all that stuff when I was young. So that was really cool. That's where I got that, was from him, and just an appreciation for motorsports and mechanics and all those things in general. So a lot of that growing up.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. So when did you first start getting into Monster Jam? And also, like, if you could just explain what monster truck shows or Monster Jam are for people, or is for people who don't know.
Yeah, of course. So Monster Jam, or monster trucks in general, are just really big trucks. They're 12,000 pound, 16-foot tall trucks powered by 1,500 horsepower, big block Chevy motors, and 66-inch tall tires. And what they do is racing, freestyle, and different kind of skilled competitions. And so we just travel around and perform shows all over the United States and beyond. And so I got started in that, kind of like the bug bit me, I guess, for monster trucks and Monster Jam in general. My family used to go to the Monster Jam World Finals, which was held in Las Vegas. And so it wasn't a far drive for us or anything like that, but we would go every single year, and it's a huge show, and it would every single time get my adrenaline pumping. And it just, to me, it combines the best of off-road technology with high horsepower. And it was just a completely different type of motorsports on its own compared to like NASCAR or dirt track racing or whatever it may be. And just the environments, the way that fans could interact and all that stuff is just completely different, and I fell in love with it. And I remember, actually, I think it was around 16 years old, and we'd just come back from a Monster Jam World Finals event, and I remember sitting there with my sister and my parents and just talking about it, like, maybe, like, we should seriously think about trying to get into this industry. And, so for us, it was one of those things where we actually believed it was obtainable, like, it was an attainable dream,
Yeah,
and so we started going after it, and, after 3 years of volunteering, finally got my first shot behind the wheel.
that's so awesome.
That's cool. Persistence.
Yeah, definitely. And how old were you when you first like got to start driving?
I think I was 19,
Okay.
when I got my first opportunity to drive,
Mhm.
so my sister and I actually and that was really cool getting to do that with her,
Yeah.
we traveled to all kinds of different shows, and that's really big, like, thanks to our parents 'cause,
Mhm.
we were working for free, getting to help out these teams, and, we were going to shows for a while just hoping to be able to help out, and then finally, a team let us behind the scenes, and we kind of proved our stuff,
Mhm.
at that moment, and a lot of the other teams saw, and, they continued to let us come back and help them out, so but before then, I mean, our parents, driving us to all these events and all that stuff, so that was really awesome of them,
Mhm.
really what helped launched us into it, but, for 3 years, we worked without pay, doing it for free and doing whatever, like, just
Yeah.
wiping down bodies or tiring up, and then I remember it was actually at Monster Jam World Finals, and there was a team there, Team Raising Cane Monster Trucks. They were competing in the World Finals, and JR McNeil messaged me and another kid named Rudy, and he asked if we wanted to come test the monster trucks. So I've worked around that team before then. We worked with a lot of different teams,
Mhm.
um, but I worked around that team a little bit before then. And then after I test, I got it to keep helping them volunteering with the team
Mhm.
and getting to know them and all that. But that was a really cool opportunity. They flew us out from California to Florida, and we got to drive the trucks, just jump them, and we're basically just seeing, if we had the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
that was a really awesome opportunity, and eventually, Rudy and I both got hired by that team and Team Raising Cane Monster Trucks, and we started out just kind of crewing and
Mhm.
then up from there.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about your story is I remember when you guys would go to all the shows and you would do all this work for free. And I would always think like that's not right. Like all these people are just using them and they're just working for free and they're just getting free labor. But then like it led to you getting all these awesome opportunities. And I just think that's so cool
Yeah.
because I mean, on one hand, it took a lot of humility from you guys because you had to be humble enough to say, we're going to help with whatever, like we'll learn, like you were open to learning whatever they said, I was like, oh, this is how it's done. I'll help with this, I'll go here, I'll do this. And you guys actually became known, if I remember correctly, as the sisters. And you'd show up at the Monster Jam shows and all the crews would know it's like, oh, it's those sisters that help for free, right? And
Yeah.
so, but all that to say, with monster trucks, from my understanding, to get in, you have to have a lot of connections, right? If you want to actually be a driver, like you kind of have a connection who kind of gets you into driving and gets it that you can participate. But you didn't necessarily start out with all those connections. You had to build them on your own, right? And so that was something that I also appreciated about you working and everything is you were creating all those connections, building those relationships just by showing up and working hard, even if nobody knew your name or nobody saw it. And that's what got you to the position where you could actually be a driver. And that I think is encouraging for a lot of people because with business, it's not so much about what you know, but it's about who you know. But there are a lot of people who want to start a business and they don't have all these amazing connections. But it's like you don't have to start with connections, but you have to be willing to put in the time to make the connections. So I just think that's really cool about how you got to where you are. That's one of my favorite things. And it's always very inspiring to me personally.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, I mean, even though we were doing it for free, we were getting paid in experience too, which was
Yeah.
Yeah.
experience is so valuable, and I feel like a lot of people don't see the value in experience as much anymore. And so that was a great opportunity in that for us too. But Yeah, so I would totally do it all over again. It was a lot of it was a long 3 years kind of waiting and to
Mhm.
just see where it would go, but, as far as, like, connections and things, just volunteering and, building that respect and that kind of rapport with other teams and things like that, and word moves fast through this industry too, so it definitely count for something, and, we that's kind of what got us our opportunity, to go where we did, was just kind of those connections we made through volunteering.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
awesome.
That's cool. What I pull out of that is it's so cool how consistent you guys were and like persistent with helping out. And then it was just that one time where, people notice and like say, here's your shot, and you were prepared for it because of all that work you had been putting in.
Mhm.
And then you did it and
And look
succeeded
at
and,
you
and
now.
yep, and
Yeah,
got you where you're at. So it's cool how all that time just like comes down to, okay, this is your shot.
yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, so that leads me to another question though. Like when you were doing all this, you were working, you were just volunteering. Did you ever feel discouraged at all or worried like maybe you weren't going to get a chance to drive or maybe you wonder like, man, am I only ever going to be able to volunteer? Like did you ever feel discouraged? And if so, how did you overcome that discouragement?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. Yeah, I feel like I really learned a lot more about what it means to have hope through that experience. And that's like it's an important word to me because it's my middle name, Kristen Hope. So, like just keeping hope through it all. Sometimes it just seemed like really pointless. Like I was just there and it was not gonna go any further than what it was just doing.
Mhm.
But I kept hope through it. And then one of the things that was it was kind of hard, is, what's really cool about Monster Jam is that, it's equal playing field for men and women in motorsports. So, whatever performance you put on, you're judged the same.
Mhm.
And there's opportunities for both men and women to get into the business and also succeed. But as far as independently owned teams and in the monster truck industry, there had not really been any females that were working for teams outside of like they were known through relationships. So like a wife or a sister or a daughter or whatever.
Yeah.
And so like I didn't have any family in that industry. And so and it's to pay honor to JR for taking the risk, being the first one to, as an independent team, bring on uh just like this random girl, you know,
Yeah.
um, to work. That was really awesome as well.
So how did you overcome that discouragement then, those times when you felt like, you were losing hope or you were, getting frustrated or what did you do to kind of keep, I guess, staying encouraged?
Yeah, it was just hard. I guess I just kept going because I believed in it. Like I believed that it was obtainable, that
Mhm.
it could happen, even though, like I was saying, like the odds were kind of stacked against us.
Mhm.
Just because someone would have to be the first one to step
Yeah.
out on that limb and take that next move. But it was one of those things we'd already come so far, we've put the work into it, and so it's kind of like a perspective, um, choosing how you look at it kinda
Yeah.
thing, like, we can keep going or we can just throw this all away, and so it was just making that choice to just keep moving forward.
That's really
Yeah.
good. It's just a mindset thing.
Yeah.
That's really good. It's
Hmm.
almost like, okay, this is what I'm doing. There's I'm not having a plan B, like I'm not like this is it and I'm gonna make it work kind of thing. I like
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
That's really cool. Yeah, so on that note, what encouragement would you give to people who they have a dream or they want to start something, but they feel like maybe they don't have the resources or they don't even know where to start? What encouragement would you give them?
Yeah, if you have, like, a heavy passion on your heart for something, it's definitely worth giving it the effort and energy to try to make that happen, and it really the biggest thing is determination and hard work, because people really respect that and they see that. And so just if you have that on your heart, just go after it with all of your heart, and just do the best you can to honor and serve others, and um that's the way to go.
So yeah, so I have a question for you. When did you and Nick, which is her husband, I don't know if that's been stated.
Oh yeah, Nick is Kristen's husband. We're cousins, but we both married guys named Nick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Side note.
Side note. Yeah, so when did you, because you guys have a mobile mechanic business now, when did you start that and how'd you get that idea? How did that come about?
Yeah, so I actually met Nick through Monster Trucks, and we got to do that together for I think we were in it full time for I think 3 years. Um so we got to work on the same team together and all of that, and that was really awesome. That was a great experience. But um so we did that full time for a while, and the I wouldn't say the problem, but we noticed with it, it's one of those things that it becomes your entire life, because we're on the road. I would say probably 48 out of 52 weekends of the year, and then those weekends that you are down, you're just working on the tracks anyways. So it takes a lot of your time. We moved all the way from Florida, so we moved away from all family. And so we didn't have time to see family, really to do anything outside of work. And it was a really fun experience, and we loved every single minute of it. Once you're bitten by the racing bug, like that's it. Like we absolutely loved it. But 2020 and when the pandemic hit, it really kind of gave us like an eye-opening experience of, it's kind of nice to have time for like family and activity outside of just, monster trucks all the time. Like there's life outside of monster trucks.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So we decided that we kind of wanted to step back from it at that point. And there was a lot of other things going on too. When we got the news, that the world was shutting down, we were in Detroit getting ready. We just pulled in, getting ready to do another show on a tour we were on, and it just all ended. And so the entertainment industry, which is what Monster Trucks really is, took a huge hit in all of that. And so we had no idea when that was going to come back together or what. There was so many unknowns. So we knew that, we don't want to get out of it completely, but maybe go to more of a part-time position. And I've always personally had like a fantasy or dream of owning our own shop. And we both really just love, hot rods, racing, custom vehicles. It doesn't just end at monster trucks. Like we love all of that. And so we decided, we're like, well, maybe we could start something like that, like have our own business. And growing up in that environment with my parents who were business owners and stuff like that. And I really felt like, that's something I would really love to do. And Nick really thought he would love to do it too. And actually someone else gave us the idea to start a mobile mechanic business, because it's a great way to get into that kind of industry without having to front the money for a shop and all the other things. So we had tools from all that, and we loaded up everything, moved back to where my family is in Asheville, North Carolina, and decided to start a mobile mechanic business in the summer of 2020. And here we are.
Yeah, and I love it because it's such a creative idea, because a lot of people think, oh, if I'm starting a business, there's so many things I need. I need to get a building. I need to get all this staffing, but it's not true. Like you can be so creative with how you start a business and just think a little bit outside the box. Like you were able to start a mechanic business. You didn't have to pay for a building. You didn't have to pay for all these like crazy probably inspections or whatever you need, you were able to start this. And not only that, but by starting a mobile mechanic business, you're able to build it up over time. And then eventually you're going to have you already have so many customers. You'll have so many already. Once you open a shop, you're already set. Like you're going to have everything you need. So it's just such a creative way to start a business by thinking a little bit differently about it.
And I think that goes back to the mindset thing too. Like, just because it's like, oh, there's a little bit of a hurdle here. Let's go take a different route, you know, take a detour. It's like, no, let's figure out how to get over this hurdle and just keep pushing forward.
I think it's like most businesses, I heard this somewhere, that start with less than $5,000. And so it's like, if there's a will, there's a way, and you can do it. And that really worked out for us because it was the smartest way to start out, and just kind of learning business, because that's a lot to do.
Yeah, it is.
And all of that stuff. So just kind of making it happen kind of deal. And we're going to keep going. We haven't given up yet. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that's really good. So then I have another question. This one's kind of silly, but where does the name Migues come from?
Okay, so our last name is Migues, and it's actually Portuguese. And it's like everybody like butchers it, like either Mingus or like Miguez, or I don't know. Like there's so many, like there's people will invent a new way to say that like every single time we tell them what our last name is. But we really like Migues. It kind of just flows off the tongue better, and it's short for our last name, Migues.
Yeah.
So that's how we came up with Migues Automotive.
I love it. Well, that's what we always call you guys, Migues.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's kind of what everyone calls us, but
yep.
Because like, and the reason why we kind of did Migues Automotive is because we like do want to expand. We want to keep mobile mechanics kind of at the forefront of it, because we have a lot of vision for what that can do for the auto repair industry, just because of the convenience and the way things, I mean, the way things are going with like grocery delivery and all that stuff. Like time is such an like valuable currency. And yeah, so what we offer saves people tons of time, because they're not having to wait at a shop, take it to a shop, and we can honestly schedule an appointment, get it done that day, and you don't have to worry about it. It's set for a set time. And so I really think it has huge potential to like be the new direction of how automotive service and repair is done for the future. So we're definitely going to keep that at the forefront, but we kind of kept it kind of broad as Migues Automotive, because we'd like to like get into other things as well, as having like a brick and mortar shop, and kind of like doing those custom jobs like hot rods and in building race cars and fast things and stuff like that. So kind of a general thing, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wish you lived here so I didn't have to take my car in. I would just call you guys.
Then you got to find someone else that has a car too. Like, hey, can you drive? Can you
drive me?
Can you drive me so we could drop off the car?
That's a great idea. So what were some of the challenges you faced when you started your business? And like, how did you overcome those challenges? What did you learn? You know, just kind of an overview of that.
Yeah. So our trade skill is, mechanic. Our not trade skill is bookkeeper, web designer, social media. So, and all that other stuff comes along with running a business, especially when you're just starting out and you can't really, divide it between a bunch of different people. Like you become chief CEO of everything, and you got to figure it out. But we were really lucky in that I had a friend that, she's a financial, I'm losing my train of thought, but financial
person.
And so she really helped me with a lot of that stuff, setting up the LLC, and learning just how to keep track of books and paying sales tax and all the things. So and then just kind of figuring everything out, like as in creating our websites, how we want things to flow and all that stuff. So that's kind of been our biggest thing, is just like
the business side.
Having to learn all of that, because like it's not just changing brakes. There's so much more that goes into that as well. But not only that, we'd always worked in a shop environment. And so being mobile, you're going to other people's houses. So just learning how to run that smoothly
Mhm.
took a lot as well. And
Yeah.
it's something we're still learning and adapting to, because,
Yeah.
you have a lot of um, the nice things that come with a shop, like uh air and and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
just learning how to do that in the best way possible, taking, the tools that matter the most and all that stuff, is still a learning process we're going through today. But yeah, so all of it. All
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something that every one of us who starts a business, like we have something we're good at, and that's why we're starting the business. But the problem is you can't just be good at the thing. You have to figure out how to be good at the business side too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's definitely relatable.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely.
And I don't think we're meant to like do business alone either. I think, there's definitely people who can offer expertise and things. I like that saying, a jack of all trades is a master of none.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like, like you don't have to know all the things, but you kind of at some points do need to do all the things or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
But you
Being
do need help.
focusing on what you master, and that's what's important too. But so just having other people that do master in those things to help you
Yeah.
get through and all that stuff, that's really important too.
Yeah, for sure. That's really good. Yeah. So on that, what does an average day of running your business look like? Like what tasks do you have to do? What's your routine like? What habits did you build to help your business stay successful? Like, kind of those things.
Yeah, so we don't do a ton of advertising or anything like that, but most of our advertising's word of mouth and actually just like Craigslist. um so I'm basically like, I just take the calls and things like that. I mean, I work on the cars and things too, but that's what I do most day in and day out is receive the calls, work up estimates and all that stuff, research parts and um, find out labor times and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And then, book appointments with the customers and then, uh, getting the parts for the job, going to the job and completing the job. And, that's basically like the general of what we do day in
Yeah.
and
Managing the books.
yeah, that's I mean, I try to do that only once a month. I don't know if that's a bad thing, but I personally handle it like once a month. It's like bare minimum.
Well, honestly, that's like the most stressful part to me. So I totally understand that feeling.
Yeah. Actually, I try to take one day a week just to focus on foundational things, improving ourselves business wise and um all those things, but just kind of learning, doing research and doing other small things like maybe developing something to work better or website, social media, anything like that. So I usually try to take one day a week, just not doing the normal and kind of transitioning to like really focus in um, on stuff for our business.
Yeah, that's really good. That's important. So, would you say too, like, even though you guys are at a point where you can support yourselves with your business, you're comfortable, you still think it's important to keep growing and learning and kind of adjusting or changing where you can be better, like different things like that?
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, I mean, we have a big vision for what this business could do, and there's still a lot of really cool things that we'd like to go ahead and do, and we'd like to get to the point where we're getting into racing ourselves and things like that, and just serving our community better. Asheville, where we live. It's a really unique community and it's so culturally diverse, but it's really awesome getting to serve that community. So just in we have a lot of plans, like as in doing like kind of like workshop clinic type deals, things like that, just to kind of like serve our community better and grow throughout our community. But just for mobile mechanics in general, we have some pretty big plans for that. So we're definitely going to keep pushing, and hopefully there's a lot more to come. But we're really happy doing what we're doing right now. We really enjoy it. I love getting to work with Nick every single day, and we just really enjoy what we do, and getting to know different people, like all kinds of different people. We have one customer. Getting a little off track, but we have one customer who is moving to Africa, and like he lived there already for a couple years. It's just cool. Like you get to meet so many different cool people and help people out. So it's really awesome just kind of building those relationships and things like that. So it's a really, even at the stage it is now, it's really awesome.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
So is there anything that you do now in your business that you wish you would have started doing earlier?
I guess like overall, we just kind of improved on every little thing. Pricing was probably something I wish I would have had down better at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because that is just kind of hard for us to gauge. Especially being mobile, it's a lot different because you have like the trip to get to the car and all of that to factor in. So pricing, it's still one of those things that we're still trying to lock down and really get, precise. But I definitely wish I would have known more about pricing when we started out.
Yeah. Pricing is big for us too.
Yeah. One thing that's tough with pricing is people will say like you're so expensive, but also like if you're making deals with the people that just want deals, those are the people that are going to get referred to you by those people too. And it's like you're creating a cycle of okay, now all these people with deals that just want a a cheap deal are coming back because you made it the first time, and they're who's recommending you. So,
and that's a really hard thing when you start your business, because you kind of want to take whatever job you can get. But at the same time, if you're constantly taking jobs and people want you to discount them, they're like, oh, can I get a discount? Then you're just going to be stuck in a cycle of people who want discounts, and you're just going to lose money. So it's hard to find that balance.
It really is tough.
I have to say no to the wrong customers, because that's the only way I'm going to get the right customers.
Yeah.
I guess like for me, like just one of the things that like I've really been kind of thinking about, because we are on this like assignment of foundation building, and just kind of like thinking about all of that stuff, is that the work we do is so much more than just, a job. Like we're not just, putting a starter on a car. We are restoring order and time to our customers' lives, because like a car not starting throws chaos into someone's lives, because your car is your mode of transportation to your job, to your friends and family, to entertainment, to the grocery store, to whatever it may be. So that throws a huge like a huge wrench. It's just chaos in someone's life. So they're not only losing time in order through all of that, but they're losing time because if they had to take it to a shop or whatever it may be, that it takes so much more time, and they have to figure out more logistics and things like that. And especially in our society today, where time is so valuable, to offer that, it's like, when you put it that way, it's worth whatever price you put on it to something.
It's true.
So just like, whatever like business or field you may be in, you can also think about it a lot deeper than just whatever job you're doing. Like, that's great. They're happy that they got a starter on there, but what you brought to those people's lives and restoring the order and time. And when you really think about it, every single business, every single industry, every single field has somewhere where it's like you're really doing a lot more than you think you are. Like when you're babysitting like a kid, like some people are like, oh, it's just a babysitting job. No, like you're growing and raising up a child and like you have the power of influence, like
Mhm.
I encourage people to like really sit down and think about like what good you're bringing through the creativity and how well you can do that service or offer that product and the quality and the representation of all of that. And that stuff really matters in the world. And I don't think people really understand the magnitude of the power of business and what we can do through business in the world, especially here in America with the freedom we have. And so that's
Yeah.
just something I wish more people would probably, ponder and think about because it really changes everything.
That's true. Yeah.
It's really
It's
good.
really easy to like, I mean, it's business and it's numbers. And so it's like you objectify it in a way where it's like, I'm selling this product, it's worth this amount. But yeah, it does go a lot deeper than
Yeah.
that.
I love that because it's like a challenge to think the perspective of how are you serving people through what you do and being almost more people focused and like this is the value I provided. This is how I'm going to help these people. And I feel like that it'll give them not only them an understanding of the value you're providing, but when you understand the value you're providing, I feel like it helps you be more people focused. Like when we shifted our thought process for our business of we're not just selling videos, we want to help other businesses succeed through making them good videos. It became a lot more about how much can we find out from these people about what they need and where their business is at and what they're struggling with and how can we help them with that. And when you're focused on what's good for people and doing the right thing, I feel like even if it seems like your business is losing out in the long run, it's going to go so much farther than somebody who's just in it for the money.
Yeah. Like one of the examples that we've talked about before is like whenever you're coming up with like a deeper thing about it is like, I'm selling erasers, but here it's not just an eraser. Like that's not how you market it is here's an eraser, buy an eraser. It's feel free, don't be so worried about making a mistake. Here's an eraser.
Yeah, we're all human. We all make mistakes. You need
It's
erasers.
just it's like you could take it a further step and it just sounds so much better. So
Yeah.
So I love that, Kristen. That was really good.
Yeah, it's super important. I think it's just super cool what we're able to do in business.
Yeah, definitely. Last question I have is what advice or tips would you give to anyone who is starting their own business?
It's going to take a lot of time and work from you. And so you have to be ready to make that commitment. But if you do, it's a beautiful way to unleash creativity and to bring hope and light into the world and how you conduct your business. There's so many businesses out there that aren't doing things the right way, mistreating their employees, mistreating their customers, or don't really value people and all that stuff. So the opportunity that you have as a business owner is really great, and you can be a great leader in your industry through it. So it's an awesome and great experience, but it's a huge commitment. And so if you're gonna do it, you gotta go after it wholeheartedly. So that's what I would say.
That's really good.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you learned just as much as we did on this episode of the Palikari Business Podcast.
Yeah, for more information on our guests, make sure to check out the podcast description on whatever platform you're listening on.
Yeah, and if you'd like to connect with us and continue the discussion, you can always join our Palikari Community Discord and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Just search for us under the handle @Odyssey Productions Co. for new podcast clips in your feed every week.
Until then, we'll see you next time.